Episode 2 opens with Shin working at the convenience store, where he compliments Sakamoto on his impressive fighting skills from their previous encounter. Sakamoto's wife, Aoi, overhears and asks if he has returned to his hitman work. Sakamoto denies it, reassuring her that no one was seriously harmed in the altercation. However, Aoi sternly warns him that if he breaks his promises or their rules, she will divorce him. Sakamoto grows upset, and Shin curiously asks about these rules. But instead of answering, Sakamoto becomes more focused on Shin's questions and begins to contemplate how to deal with him later. The scene shifts to Chinatown, where Sakamoto and Shin are out shopping for the store. Sakamoto picks up a pork bun for his daughter, hoping it will make her happy. As they walk, Shin wonders aloud if they really came all the way to Chinatown just for that. Sakamoto reflects on how deeply he cares for his family. Suddenly, a girl named Lu jumps down from above, landing on Sakamoto and causing the pork buns to be ruined. Sakamoto looks visibly distressed, but Lu quickly explains her situation. Before they can process it, a group of people appears, determined to capture Lu. Sakamoto intervenes, breaking a knife aimed at her, and Shin helps free her. Despite the danger, Sakamoto remains focused on the ruined buns, clearly upset. As more pursuers close in, Sakamoto and Lu run, managing to escape. Later, their boss learns of the failure to capture Lu and becomes enraged. A man named Dan arrives, kills the person who failed, and expresses his frustration. He claims that he destroyed their entire clan and still couldn't capture Lu. Lu then reveals to Sakamoto and Shin that she holds the key to her family's treasure, which is why everyone is chasing her. Shin suggests that she could give up the key to save her life, but Lu refuses. The key was entrusted to her by her parents, who sacrificed themselves to protect it, and she will guard it with her life. Shin acknowledges her decision, but Lu insists that their involvement is unnecessary and starts to leave. Sakamoto, however, stops her and asks if she can make pork buns. Lu replies that her father taught her how to make them. With that, Sakamoto decides they can do their shopping later. Shin warns that Lu's family is part of the mafia, and they shouldn't get involved. But Sakamoto, undeterred by the danger, insists on having the pork buns. Shin tries to convince him to back off. But before they can leave, a loud bang sounds, and Cho arrives, kicking Sakamoto into a nearby building. Shin attempts to strike at their opponents, but quickly realizes how skilled and dangerous they are. Meanwhile, Sakamoto steps in when Lu is attacked, displaying his incredible strength and shocking everyone with his abilities. He attempts to convince Lu to hand over a valuable key in exchange for a quick death, but she refuses, revealing that her parents sacrificed themselves to protect it. Enraged by her defiance, Sanhee threatens to kill her the same way he did her parents. This infuriates Lu, prompting her to rush at him in anger. Shin tries to stop her from acting rashly, but Sakamoto fiercely protects Lu from Sanhee's attacks. As the battle intensifies, Shin begins to realize that Sakamoto's actions are driven by something much deeper than mere protection. As Sanhee continues to provoke them, Sakamoto reflects on a pivotal moment with his wife. He recalls returning home covered in blood after a violent job, only for his wife to express her frustration. She wasn't upset about the blood, but about the lifestyle he was leading. She didn't want material gifts, she wanted him to change, to stop the violence, and to live a peaceful life with her, free from harm. In a deeply emotional moment, she even jumped off a building, prompting Sakamoto to save her. She made him promise that he would stop killing and instead help others, believing that every person is important to someone. This conversation became the foundation of a new rule for their family: to protect and care for others. This emotional flashback leads to a deep realization for Sakamoto, and even Aoi is moved by his commitment to change. The scene emphasizes themes of redemption, the importance of family, and the value of human life. Back in the present, Sanhee and Bang Cho attempt a coordinated attack on Sakamoto, but despite his bulky appearance, Sakamoto evades all their strikes effortlessly, surprising his opponents. Realizing they need to step up, the two enemies launch another combined attack, but Sakamoto stops them before they can land a hit, knocking Bang Cho down with a heavy object. When Sanhee tries to strike, Sakamoto counters, leaving him stunned. Sakamoto humorously comments that he needs bandages, referencing his unfamiliarity with handling such intense physical exertion. With no other options left, Sanhee attempts to target Lu, but Shin uses his ability to read minds and stops him in his tracks. In an unexpected move, Sakamoto picks up a fridge and smashes it over Sanhee, further demonstrating his strength. Lu, witnessing this, asks who Sakamoto and Shin really are. Sakamoto responds nonchalantly that they are just shopkeepers, though Lu remains doubtful. Meanwhile, Dan, obsessed with reaching the treasure, is surprised when Sakamoto and Shin arrive with the captured enemies. Lu, frustrated, threatens Dan with a knife and in a fit of anger, starts physically confronting him. However, instead of killing him, Lu decides to spare Dan, recalling her father's advice that seeking revenge would only prevent her from truly living. She opens her family's treasure vault, revealing vast amounts of gold inside. They also find a book that details the L clan's tradition of storing valuable items for future generations. Curious about what her father left her, Lu discovers a heartfelt letter from him, expressing his hope to share a drink with her when she grows up. This emotional message moves Lu, and in gratitude for Sakamoto and Shin's help, she decides to share the treasure with them. Later, Sakamoto and Shin enjoy pork buns, which, despite their unappealing appearance, taste great. The scene shifts to Shin sitting in the shop when Sakamoto enters, complaining of a headache from drinking. Sakamoto asks for peace and Shin brings him juice. To Shin's surprise, Lu enters wearing a shop uniform and explains that she has taken the job, as no one else would hire her. Later, Sakamoto reminds Shin to respect the family rules. Shin, having gained insight into these rules through his ability to read minds, acknowledges them. Sakamoto, now considering Shin as part of the family, emphasizes the importance of following these rules, warning him that any violation would have serious consequences. Shin, however, cleverly points out that Sakamoto's warning contradicts the very first rule. The episode then shifts to a secretive meeting where a group of individuals discusses Sakamoto, revealing that a bounty of 1 billion yen has been placed on his head. This sets the stage for further conflict, and the episode concludes with rising tension around Sakamoto's future. Episode 3 kicks off with Lu strolling into her shift at the convenience store, a casual 2 hours late. Shin, on the verge of a complete meltdown, scolds her like a volcano about to erupt. But Lu, like a Zen master in the middle of chaos, remains eerily calm, as if tardiness were some sort of ancient art form. While working, Shin notices a glaring mistake. Someone placed detergent in the juice section. His irritation spikes as he tells Lu to get her act together. Lu, ever the rebel, takes this as her cue to stack items in the most nonsensical way possible, as if she's conducting an experiment to test Shin's patience. Fed up, Shin demands to know if Lu has ever worked a job in her life. Lu nonchalantly replies that, yes, she worked for her dad, digging holes and burying barrels. This revelation only adds to Shin's exasperation, and he storms off to complain to Sakamoto, suggesting they fire Lu before she buries their entire inventory. Unexpectedly, Sakamoto, who typically speaks as much as a statue, tells Shin to quit criticizing Lu. He even goes a step further and asks Lu to apologize, leaving both Shin and Lu stunned. As if this wasn't shocking enough, Sakamoto continues to speak, like a lot. Shin, who's never seen Sakamoto string this many words together, is visibly flustered, as if the universe itself has flipped upside down. Then, Sakamoto drops a line that makes everyone freeze. "You're being so rude, I might have to kill you." Shin stares at him, trying to figure out if this is a joke or if he should start writing his will. Before anyone can recover from the awkwardness, a man who looks exactly like Sakamoto strolls into the store. Shin and Lu both gape at the newcomer, their faces practically screaming, "What is happening?" The original Sakamoto, as calm as ever, shrugs and says, "Well, this is unexpected. I appear to have a doppelganger." Shin tries to process the situation, wondering how someone could perfectly mimic Sakamoto, while also panicking over the fact that he can't read the doppelganger's mind. Meanwhile, Nagumo finds all of this absolutely hilarious and laughs like he's watching a comedy special. Shin and Lu, in no mood for his antics, both punch him in frustration. The doppelganger finally introduces himself as a close friend of Sakamoto's, claiming to be 18 years old and working at a nearby convenience store. Shin and Lu exchange confused glances, clearly skeptical of his youthful claim. Then Sakamoto casually reveals that the doppelganger is actually 27 years old and a seasoned hitman. Cue more jaw-dropping from Shin and Lu. The doppelganger then shares some alarming news. There's a 1 billion yen bounty on Sakamoto's head. As the group processes this bombshell, a pizza delivery guy arrives. Shin quickly reads his mind and realizes he's an assassin in disguise. The pizza guy confidently takes Nagumo hostage, but Sakamoto remains so calm, you'd think he was ordering takeout. Nagumo, however, isn't one to stay quiet and starts choking the assassin, which only makes things more chaotic. Sakamoto steps in, stopping Nagumo and reminding everyone to keep things civil. Nagumo reluctantly backs off, throwing in some jokes to lighten the mood, but Sakamoto stays as stoic as ever. Meanwhile, a mysterious group of people watches the whole ordeal through surveillance cameras. They discuss their next steps, with some arrogantly claiming Sakamoto won't be an issue because he's been retired for 5 years. Little do they know, Sakamoto is already watching them through the cameras. He delivers a chilling warning: "If you try to stalk me, I'll make you regret it." Later, Shin expresses concern to Sakamoto about more assassins showing up, but Sakamoto advises staying low. This plan is immediately ruined when Hana and Aoi came to Sakamoto brimming with excitement. Hana announces that they're going to an amusement park the next day, leaving Sakamoto visibly uneasy at the idea of such a public outing. The next day, Hana and Aoi are full of excitement, while Sakamoto, Shin, and Lu look like they're heading to their doom. On the Ferris wheel, Lu starts feeling queasy after overindulging on food. Hana, meanwhile, cheerfully explains that they're here to see Sugar Bonnie, a powerful fighter. While Sakamoto's family enjoys the rides, Shin and Lu stay on edge, ready for trouble. Shin casually reveals that he can read the thoughts of people within a 30-meter radius. Lu, suddenly self-conscious, wonders if he's been snooping through her thoughts. Shin soon picks up on the location of an enemy and warns Sakamoto. They quickly identify the threat as a worker, and Sakamoto takes him out with surgical precision, making it look so effortless he doesn't even glance at his target. Shin explains that Sakamoto avoids hitting vital organs, ensuring the worker survives, but probably wishes he didn't. Meanwhile, another assassin watches from a distance, plotting how to outsmart Shin's mind-reading ability. His brilliant plan? Think absolutely nothing. On the roller coaster, Lu spots a suspicious man and comments on how shady he looks. Shin tries to stay neutral, but it's clear the man is up to something. Moments later, the man pulls a gun and fires at Sakamoto, who deflects the bullet with his bulletproof glasses. Yes, bulletproof glasses, because why not? Shin leaps out of his seat, landing on the attacker and knocking them both onto the tracks. The assassin calls Shin crazy, which, to be fair, isn't entirely wrong. Their fight intensifies, with the man slashing Shin and injecting him with poison. Despite his worsening condition, Shin remains calm and declares that Sakamoto doesn't fear death. His true fear is failing to protect his family. As the roller coaster loops back around, Shin grabs the attacker and hurls him onto the ride. The battle continues, with Shin narrowly dodging fatal strikes. In a bold move, Shin tackles the man off the ride, landing on a nearby stage where Sugar Bonnie is fighting an antagonist. Seizing the moment, Shin borrows Bonnie's costume and finishes off the assassin in dramatic fashion. At the end of the episode, Sakamoto advises the group to stay vigilant. Meanwhile, children in the audience cheer, believing they've just witnessed the most epic performance of their lives. The episode ends with the classic reminder to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.